boys. We don't need. Well, we're gonna keep this on. We can hear the music playing. JFK Day, dude. I mean RFK, dude. Let's get at it, boys. What's up? What's up, RFK? RFK. Let's go. Let's go. How's everybody doing today, man? Technically, first stream on second channel, Medium Teddy. That's where we're at, baby. Hope all is well, my guys. I appreciate the, the comments on the live stream, technically video, that's on this channel. But yeah, the replay of the whole stream is on the main channel. Not trying to force you guys. It sounds like I'm forcing you guys to go check out that main channel. Check it out, or else, brother. No, consensual, of course, above all else. But yeah, hope all is well, man. On the new polls, it says JFK or RFK is that he could beat Trump. Boys, what do you think about that? Can he beat him? Can he? The problem is, Trump's got a lot of momentum on his side, man. He's got a lot of momentum on his side. I want to pull for our boy. I want to pull for him. But, all this talk is fantastic, but how is he going to back it up, right? How is he going to back it up? I love that song, but I don't know how long we can play it with YouTube's guidelines. Sadly, we cannot play it that often. I'm just gonna send a link to my boy Joshua. Shout out Josh. We did a reaction stream about him last time. But yeah, RFK Jr. Yes, it's not made for kids. Okay. Done deal. I thought I was live streaming. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me go back to this. It's acting up. Okay, come on now. Come on now, thing. Okay, there we go. Okay, it's done acting up, being weird. But yeah. RFK Jr. RFK. Now, a lot of people have been building him up. Both parties are trying to stop him, right? Now, the last couple of live streams, I haven't been backing him up 100% because ever since, the Alt-4 attempt at Donnie Trump's life, it's not like I've converted and completely gave him my trust, right? But, I mean, I'm just losing more and more trust, right? Trust in our system. So, I love what RFK says. Don't get me wrong. I really like what he says. But how he's going to act if he gets into office? He has to be on more ballots to be able to get into office. One thing is, most importantly, it seems like everybody on RFK's side does not believe the media and both sides of the party. And that's boys, beautiful thing, right? Beautiful thing to see. Let's go, right? Let's go. That is a beautiful thing. To see people not believing the lies of social media. You guys are smart. Not trying to kiss your butt or anything, or your ass, or make you put a thumb up there, but that's completely weird. But I'm glad to see you guys are not buying into the media and everything they say. You guys have big brains over here. We're not dumb. We may be autistic, but we're not dumb. Or maybe that's just me. I think some of you do have some of the schisms, right? No, I'm joking. But I'm glad to see some of you guys are not fully listening to the media. especially with like the Trump thing and everything going on with him. It seems the momentum's shifting, and I mean, we might be in the end of time. So for me, I've just been thinking about that a lot, right? Maybe going a little crazy, but especially the thing with Trump and him dodging the bullets. He did the whole Matrix thing, dodged the bullets, and a lot of people are feeling sad for him. But it's also confusing. It's like some people are very hateful towards him, then a lot of people are coming over to Trump's side, And it did say the beast will have a deadly wound to his head and survives it and heals, and then everybody loves him and supports him, right? So it is crazy to see a mixed bag, can't even talk, mixed bag of potatoes, right? So it's very confusing. I'm not really trusting the government, but I probably need to stop thinking about the end of the world and just have faith in the Lord and Jesus and say, hey, either way, it's going to be pretty cool, right? I think that's the most important thing. But we should listen to, in case that doesn't happen, because we don't know what the time he's coming back, right? But let's see how he thinks the country should be running right now. RFK Jr., no one else, right? Now, we're going to ride this thing till the end. Till November, right? Till November, most likely. A live stream a week. Or just something important happens. But I wanted to do this live stream. Just, I don't know. Just keep on doing it. It's pretty fun, right? And, dude, the last time I was really into politics, I went mentally challenged. Not gonna lie. Not in a bad way. But a little bit in a bad way, right? It was after January, that time period 3 years ago. I went mentally unstable for a bit. I got too caught up in the sauce, man. And I couldn't change anything about it. That's what frustrated me. It's like the country's going this way, but I can't do anything about it. But the one thing we can do is upgrade ourselves. Not eat ice cream in the morning. That's what I did this morning. But, just focus on what we can do as Americans and think on our own. And it seems like you guys, not trying to kiss your ass or anything, but excuse the French, you guys are doing better at that, man. Not trying to be glazing up, but W on that, boys. Honestly, that's a big W. But yeah, boys, this one's going to stay public. If you guys want to join the live streams, I'll set a date in a certain time period of when we're going to do them. I might download these and just put them as videos also. But guys, this VOD will be up, and I'm going to shut my mouth, and we're going to get into this thing. Probably going to yap on some, but let's get into it, boys.
Jr., and I'm running as an independent candidate for President of the United States. I grew up in an America that seemed to have achieved its promise as an exemplary nation. Modern democracy had spread from one nation, ours, in 1776 to 6 by 1865 and to 190 by the 1960s.
Yes, sir.
We had become the city on the hill. We were a moral authority around the globe. Our government...
Boys, what do you think of that, right? I'm going to pause it real quick. Sorry. Should the United States be a moral authority? Now, I think religion-wise, I think the nation should be, this may be troublesome and a no-no. Christ, right? Because the people that came over here, I understand religious freedom, right? I understand that 100%. But, I think people that came over here believed in Christ, and there are still many people that believe in Christ. I think it should be a Christian nation, right? Not like force people to become Christian. I mean, this religion, because who cares if someone calls themselves a Christian? I might call myself a Christian, but am I truly following Christ, right? Sorry for this religious and, Christian thing to say, but I'm gonna take my Zens out while I'm talking about him because that's disrespectful, But I mean, call myself a Christian, but am I really? Do I follow him? Am I like, hey guys, do I bear the fruit? Right? Do I bear the fruit of Christianity? Because that's really important. Do I bear fruit? Right? But I don't know if the United States should be a moral, pushing, being everybody's business. Maybe help them out and give them a hand. A round of applause for being retards. No, I'm joking. Shout out North Korea. We love them. But I don't think we should be in everybody's business, especially for a country struggling like we are. We should not be in everybody's business. People are homeless. The government's just like, hey, go buy a home, you piece of crap. You're homeless? It's a you problem, buddy. And stuff like that, and the food prices and the gas prices. Major problems, right? I like the way JFK handled Russia. He was trying to come to deals. Like a week or a month before he was assassinated, he was trying to pull out troops from Vietnam. Right? He had a plan to pull out the troops. Then, he got off forward a month later or something like that. So that's crazy. Not saying the government did it. But, yeah, let's continue with the State of the Union.
Institutions, our Congress, the court, the regulatory agencies, and even the American press were renowned for their integrity, and they were revered worldwide. Other nations wanted our American leadership. They knew the difference between leadership and bullying.
Hold up, guy. Like the video to help out a buddy. If you like RFK Jr., I'm probably not going to support him money-wise because I got to get up before I send money to another man, or things like that. Important. It's good to help out folks, but sometimes you gotta build yourself up.
Our current leaders seem to have forgotten. We were the template of liberty, proof that for a country to thrive, its people must be free. Free to speak, free to worship, free to build great companies, free to start small businesses. We were the freest country in the world, and by no coincidence, also the most prosperous. Working Americans could provide for their families on a single salary. They could buy a home, raise a family, save for retirement without mountains of debt. We made the best music, we made the best movies, we made gold standard automobiles that everybody in the world wanted. We made blue jeans, we reconstructed Europe, we put men on the moon. We're the world's healthiest, best educated children. Our productivity, ingenuity, our can-do spirit were the envy of the world. We had confidence in our strength, our capacity, and the limitless potential of our country. Yeah, we had serious racial and environmental problems, but in the heady days of my youth, the environmental movement and the civil rights movement were picking up steam. My father and some of his allies were fighting to eliminate the last pockets of hunger in Appalachia, in the Mississippi Delta, and on the Indian reservations. And we became, for the first time, a true constitutional democracy in this country, with all races voting and holding political office. Other countries aspired to be like us, and our children grew up proud of their passport, proud of their flag. My uncle, President Kennedy, left us a legacy of peace and the hope of ending the arms race and winding down the Cold War. Those were the traditions of freedom, prosperity, and peace that my father, my uncle, and Martin Luther King Jr. were striving to protect and advance. In the half-century since their deaths, we've lost touch with that vision for our country. And I want to tell you right now that we can still restore that America, the America that almost was, and yet may be. But we have to start by being honest with ourselves. Neither my uncle nor my father would recognize the version of America that we have today. We become a nation of chronic illness, of violence, of loneliness, depression, and division, and poverty. Our great cities are becoming tent encampments, modern-day Hoovervilles filled with undocumented immigrants and dispossessed Americans.
And we're on the brink of a Great Depression, right? So we're having lots of trouble in the United States. I mean, he's hitting the nail on the head. Thomas Jefferson. One thing I dislike about the guy is he had his own Bible. Not that cool, no offense. I shouldn't be throwing stones because I have my own skeletons inside of a closet, right? Not like bad ones like Island Boys. The Island Boys out there doing some things. That's not me. but I do have my own, like, things that I need to work on, right? But the way the country's going, Theodore Roosevelt wouldn't be happy with it. A lot of people in power are getting lots of money from companies, right? From other people trying to control things, right? Behind the scenes, the Matrix. Matrix is making the frogs gay. Maybe. Nothing wrong with being gay, but they're messing up the water. Bro. They're messing up the water, per se. But I think RFK, jokes aside, right? RFK Jr. is right about a lot of things. That's why I'm really thinking about voting for him, boys. Building back up the trust with the governments. I don't think we should trust the government, right? Look, lean in close with me. I don't know why I said it like that, but I don't know why we should trust the government. We should trust the people. That's a big difference, right? Love one another. Cut out the hate, right? Trust in the Lord. Let Him work through us, right? I think that's one of the most important things. But I think if RFK Jr. does what he says, the problem is, right? The big problem is Trump has the results. He has the receipts. RFK's a new guy. He's been in climate change for the last 30 years, right? And he's been fighting companies. He's been fighting back against things. That is some of the results and the receipts he has, right? Also Trump, right? And Trump has a lot of the momentum building due to that thing that happened. And Hulk Hogan's on the side, dude. Hulk Hogan's got Trump daddy's back, But if RFK gets in office, the percentages of him winning and beating Trump is 57 to 43, right? That's big. Now, do a lot of people know RFK? A lot of people are knowing RFK more, but the news coverage is covering it up. They are not showing him it. And the thing I'm worried about is, like, some of the Democrats have his back, right? Not all of them. I don't trust the Republicans that much either. I don't think we should trust any of these guys at all, as much as we can throw a stone in the water, right? Or buy a loaf of bread. I don't think we should trust any of these guys because a lot of them corrupt. I'm not trying to say they are devils. Some may worship owls in the forest, right? Some may worship owls in the forest. But it's definitely hard to trust these guys. And if RFK says he's the guy he is, and it's not the end of times, then I'm voting for him, right? I kind of hope it isn't, but if it is, dude, that'd be pretty sick. Just gotta repent and follow Jesus, right? That's what I think. Whoa, camera, my bad. But, I mean, if we're not, that's pretty cool. But if we are, awesome. Let's continue.
People living in their cars, plagued by mental illness and addiction and despair. Our border has come under the control of criminal drug cartels that traffic in desolation and fentanyl and in busloads of desperate human beings. Our children are drowning in a crisis of alienation, of dispossession, and complete disconnection from their communities. We've lost far more of our young people to drugs in the last decade than in the 20-year Vietnam War. We've printed 9 centuries worth of money in a little over a decade and spent $8 trillion on regime change wars. Those wars have made America less safe, our country less strong, and the world far less stable, while sending prices through the roof as our infrastructure falls apart. Tens of millions of young Americans no longer even dream of owning their own home. What happened to America, the land of opportunity, where you could be sure that if you worked hard and played by the rules, that you would have a decent life? All the new wealth of the last generation has gone to the billionaires and to transnational corporations, while our tattered middle class, our infrastructure, our industry have been hollowed out from the inside. Instead of promise, we've left our kids sick and drowning in debt. The public debt has gone from about $5 trillion under President George W. Bush to $34 trillion today, and U.S. household debt is at a record high of $17.3 trillion. If you include discouraged workers, our true unemployment rate is 23%. Young parents face housing, grocery, and childcare costs that are unaffordable. Too many Americans are living bleak and hopeless lives, dreading the one medical emergency or the car repair that will tip them over the edge into homelessness. We rank 40th globally in our people's health and wellness. Out of the richest countries in the world, the United States is 35th in child poverty rates, just above Mexico. We rank 36th in literacy and 45th.
Oh, that is terrible.
We have one of the highest
36% of us can't read. Let's go. No, that's awful. That's not good.
cancer rates in the world, and our life expectancy now ranks 59th according to the World Bank. That's right behind Algeria, which spends less than 1/30th per capita of what we spend. But even these grim figures hide the full picture of our dire health crisis. We now have the worst health outcomes in the rich world, the highest maternal mortality rates, the highest number of gun deaths per capita, and the highest number of teen pregnancies. We lead the world in obesity and chronic disease. According to CDC, 60% of Americans have at least one chronic condition. When my uncle was president, only 6% of Americans had chronic disease. And all of these plights fall heaviest on our young people. 4 in 10 of them suffer depression, and half of them have considered suicide. 1 in 10 has anxiety, 1 in 10 has ADHD, 1 in 5 is obese.
Yeah, those are awful statistics. Not that they're terrible. I mean, they are terrible, right? Obesity, everybody's anxious. That is terrible. That's not good. And the worst part about it, not the worst part, but that the government is in our business every day. They're controlling. Then you have the police, right? I like the police, but it seems like they have power to change your life forever. Then all these other people have your life in their hands, And then the federal government is extremely strong. There's no checks and balances anymore. It's just all about power and how much money they can gain instead of helping out the fellow man. Right? We're not bearing any good fruit. I mean, people are good, I believe. They can be great, but it just seems like the federal government is just way too strong and there's no balance anymore. It's all gone, right? It's all gone. So it's hard to trust the government with a handful of salt.
It's time for us to say enough is enough. We were once a free and thriving nation, the healthiest and strongest in the world.
See, I don't see Trump talking about the health issues either, right? Maybe I haven't seen any of his speeches. I don't want to be rude and say he hasn't, right? We're going to have to look into that. But it just seems like Kennedy is that guy, right? He seems relatable and like he loves the issues that we need to fix. Not loves them, but he's like, hey bro, I'm here for you. Come here. Let's fix this now. Let's fix this, boy. Let's fix this. It can all be resolved because we have a plan, right? And then everything else, But we just gotta see what he thinks on gun control, because I think that's a major issue that's not getting him more voters, right, than the aborting children. I think that's a big issue we need to discuss, right? And those two big issues, we need to know what he believes in those, because I like everything else he's saying, right? I like everything else. But on those two issues, I need to know, because I don't want a person. These are just two big things I want to know about. And these two topics might be the thing that's causing him not to gain more voters. I mean, he's getting more voters and getting more pull, right? That's the reason why Trump wanted him to drop out the race. That's the reason why Biden wants him to drop out the race. It seems kind of weird when Biden gave him Secret Service after Trump's Alt 4 almost committed, right? Then in that phone call, Trump was like, hey, dude, why don't you come and help me out and you drop out the race? So it's kind of weird from both sides. The Democrats and Republicans, the cousin kissers and the liberals, the evil guys. Both of them are evil, not going to lie. Not the I'm not trying to say all of them people are evil. You know, I'm not better than anyone else, right? But both sides just are corrupt, right? So all of them worship owls, most likely. And it's a weird thing to worship, but they worship owls. Giant ones, perhaps, in a wood area. All men having sex. It's kind of odd. Not gonna lie. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Yes. But it just seems like Kennedy can make that change. I mean, he's swaying my heart to trust him. He's swaying my heart. Not that he's my idol, but it seems like he's that guy. You know, you just have those people like Kennedy. His lineage has a big impact. Okay, can I trust this man to actually bring us out of war, which Trump did as well? So it's kind of on that side of things. They're like, okay, Trump can fix this, but also Kennedy can do that, right? And Kennedy will go after the people that others won't go after, right? And that's the same thing his uncle did. And that's what I'm worried about, bro, is that they might have the same kind of road, right? And that's the scary thing. Then we know what kind of world and government we live in, right? Because those things will happen again. And that's not that cool, you know? I don't want war. I want peace. I want to live in a great world where people love each other and give each other hugs and kisses. Not in a weird way, but with the bros or the ladies, both. Consensual. But seriously, I think, one of the most biggest problems is the lack of Christ in this country. I'm just going to get to that point. Maybe you guys don't agree with me on that. My content definitely doesn't show that, and that has to change. But that's the thing missing from this country. If you guys don't agree with that, I'm sorry, but I'm standing 10 toes on that, man. Because Christ has sure helped me out a lot, man. I wouldn't be here without him. I'm not up yet, but Jesus, man, he's done so much for me. He's my best. I want him to be more of my best friends, but I gotta show I gotta bear better fruit. Just speaking plainly, he's blessed my life with so many things, great people around me to push me, and just good people overall, right? And blessed me to not die when I was a baby. So, those things are pretty solid, right? But I think this world's just missing more of him. Not the leaders of the churches, not the leaders of that. Just Christ. Just the Lord. The world's missing that. And he's here, but, Satan rules the world. But, I think the United States is missing Christ a lot. Because you can tell by the world leaders how we treat other countries, and how we treat the people within the United States, right? I think that is the biggest problem. Because people bring up like the leaders of churches and stuff like that, but it says make no idols of any other man. Don't put your trust in any other man. Put your trust in him. Not trying to preach, but I think that is the biggest problem. I think us saying, hey, this might be the guy that could lead us, right? There's no problem with that. I don't think there's a problem with that. But there comes a problem where everybody's glazing up Trump. I understand he dodged a bullet. Thank goodness. I don't wish that on anybody, right? We shouldn't be wishing that stuff on anybody. And rest in peace to the guy that protected his family and passed away. He was a man. He did what he had to do. That's something to be proud of, right? He protected his people. But yeah. Yeah, I don't think we should wish on anybody. But I think RFK might be our guy, boys. Honestly, I know I keep on flip-flopping because it's like, it's hard to trust anyone, man. It's hard to trust anyone. I'm not trying to seem like a damn hypocrite, my bad. But I just think it's really tough to with everything going on, it's hard to trust, right? It's hard to say, hey, this might be our guy right here. This guy, he's ours. He's our boy. We want to hug him, give him a slap in the face, and say, good job, boy. Good job, boy. Boy. I don't know why I'm saying boy so much, but boy, good job. Then you slap on the ass and say, good game. 18 and above, though. Not Jeffrey over here. Not Jeffrey, nor gay. But, hey, I'm just saying, if you're boys, you slap each other on the butt, I don't think it's wrong. Maybe it's kind of weird, right? You might go to Starbucks after that, but, just saying. Bigger than black and white, like my boy Gideon said.
What we once were, we can be again. How do I know that? It's because everywhere I go in this country, I see a profound determination among Americans to heal.
Yeah.
We might have become the sickest country on earth, but we also have the most ingenious healers, both inside and outside.
Hold up, that was some satanic stuff right there, not gonna lie. But let's continue.
We may have sky-high levels of depression and addiction, but we also have innovators who have opened up new frontiers in recovery. We have some of the world's most depleted agricultural soils, but also some of the world's most innovative and energetic regenerative farmers. We have serious economic problems, but we also have the brightest and most ambitious entrepreneurs. We face hunger and homelessness, and yet we meet it with the highest philanthropic rates in the world and bottomless kindness and compassion. We may be on the mat today, but we can be on our feet and happy and healthy and strong again with good leadership tomorrow. Our people and our system were built for resilience. And here's the most important thing I want to tell you about the state of our union. Our nation seems more divided than ever, but Americans everywhere want to heal that divide. Our nation has become artificially divided by political forces that can survive only when we, the people, are at war with each other. People are tired of being manipulated by fear. We learned that lesson during COVID. We recognize that the same techniques of manipulating fear are being used by elites today to corral us into voting for one political candidate or the other. Americans are tired of these dire warnings that to preserve democracy itself, you better vote for our guy. I can tell you that in every state of this union, people are rejecting fear-mongering. 80% of Americans say they don't want to be forced to choose in this election between the lesser of two evils. They're tired of voting against something or someone. I see it in the crowds of mixed Republicans and Democrats and independents who attend my rallies, that a growing number of Americans are rejecting divisiveness. They're ready to unite, to rebuild this country, and to fulfill the promise of the America of my youth. They're ready to vote for something and for someone they like, for someone who represents hope and healing, or someone with an inspiring vision for America's future.
Yeah.
For a future that they can believe in. So that's the State of the Union that I want to bring you today. It's a nation that hungers to heal. It's a nation ready to face reality, to rebuild, to end the forever foreign wars, to clean out the corrupt Washington establishment, and to turn again toward peace, freedom, good health, and prosperity.
I think this is... Okay, hold up. Some just went autistic. But I think this is the reason why, probably me, but I think this is the reason why both sides are going after Kennedy. I mean, honestly. Both sides really dislike him. They're trying to get him to drop out of the race. I mean, they are, bro. They're trying to get him to leave. And it's because he's speaking these things, right? Thank you for liking the video. Appreciate it, my guy. But I think it's because Kennedy is speaking about these things with a clear heart and logic, and he seems relatable. And that's why people love the guy. People want this kind of guy in office. It reminds them of the peaceful times and the dream we had when Kennedy was in office. That dream where we could have peace and freedom and love, right? Before all the hippie stuff in Vietnam. You know? We want peace. We don't want war. We don't want none of that. We don't want to be in other countries' business, or at least I don't. I want to take care of my people And I want my country to do the same thing. I want my country to love each other and stop making people hate each other and go towards a civil war. No one wants that. Things between us people are better than people think. We just need to come together, you know, as Americans, because that's what matters. We're Americans. What the flag represents, the stars represents the 13 colonies, and the stripes, I forgot what. The stars represents the states, and the stripes represent the 13 colonies. I almost forgot. But that's what America stands for, man. It stands for freedom. It stands for the people, not the government. Throughout American history, it's Americans. We always loved the people. We never loved the government because that's what we ran away and fought for. We fought for freedom from government. Government is not the answer. It's the problem. The government is the problem. Not like we should take over or anything. No. But government is the problem. It's not the solution. It's not the solution. It's us as... Remember during the Revolutionary War, we came as people. Not as governments. We came as people to fight off tyrants that were trying to control us and to make us think a certain way and follow their rules. Dude, in 1776, and before that a little bit, they fought because they increased the taxes just a little bit. They had the courage to do that. But us over here, we're getting fat and obese. Something has to change. Me as well. I've gotten fat, but that's besides the point. I think RFKJR might actually be our guy. Not gonna lie. Because he actually seems relatable and like a guy we can actually trust. Honestly. But let's finish up this video.
We unite in that vision. We're going to be unstoppable. Thank you, and God bless you.
God bless you, brother. But, yeah, I think that's the reason why both sides... This video explains why both sides do not want him in office. They don't want him running things because they know he'll try to tear down the things they have built to destroy us, right? That's just what I think. Because there's a lot of power in office, a lot of companies controlling things, like in Teddy Roosevelt's day, and he went against that, and he helped save the American people. He made the country better. He prepped the country for World War I and World War II, right? He created the Panama Canal. That's something he did, right? He did the Food Act and so many things to help the American people. He helped the people with the railroads. Like if someone had a business and they were selling, let's say, wheat, right? So they had to ship off the wheat, but the train and the railroad would take 60% of his money, and he would only have a little bit, right? So Theodore Roosevelt changed that so the railroad and the train companies wouldn't take as much tax. So the guy that was making actually business work would make a little bit more money. I think that's the bright side of things, right? That's way better than the old way, right? So Theodore Roosevelt helped go against the businesses and the big companies and the monopolies control things within the government and paying off officials so the laws they wanted to pass would pass. So, some in our country has got to change and someone has to do it, right? Now we got another video to watch. It's about how he's going to bring peace and not go into wars that we don't need to be involved in. Okay, that's a crazy title. Okay. Okay, give me 1 second, boys. Sorry about that. 1 second. Sorry, boys. I'm looking for the right video. But I did a lot. Last live stream was talking about the leaked call. The leaked call. There wasn't much to it, but in some of the call, Trump was trying to get RFK Jr. to drop out the race, and I thought it was all weird. That kind of put me off edge with RFK Jr. about leaking that call. That seemed a little bit disrespectful, you know. In our first live stream, we reacted to Piers Morgan and RFK Jr. Very good debate, technically. Very good. What the? Aaron Rodgers, bro? That'd be crazy. Aaron Rodgers as a vice president. Bro, the times have changed, I tell you. Okay, let's check out this video.
Glad you're streaming with us. Now to perhaps the most bizarre story of the day. Independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. revealing that a worm ate part of his brain. Yeah, that's according to an article that was published in the New York Times today. We're all talking about it. What can I tell you? Our senior congressional correspondent, Rachel Scott, she's covered a lot of stories, too. This is definitely has to be one of those where you are going, okay, what the heck is going on here? And is Kennedy's camp saying anything about this?
Yeah, Kira, it's one of those stories that you see the headline and you read it not just once, not just twice, but maybe 3 or 4 times before proceeding down to the article. So look, the campaign is not disputing this reporting, and the New York Times here says this is all from a 2012 deposition that RFK Jr. gave during his divorce proceedings, in which he was trying to explain while he may have had short-term or longer-term memory loss. And then he says that a doctor told him that a worm got into his brain, ate a portion of it, and then that worm died. Now, his campaign tells us today that Mr. Kennedy traveled extensively in Africa, South America, Asia, and worked as an environmental advocate. And in one of those locations that he contracted a parasite. They go on to tell us that the issue was resolved more than 10 years ago and that he is now in robust physical and mental health. But again, Kira, the headline, of course, here is that Mr. Kennedy says that a doctor told him that...
That is crazy, honestly. If he said that, I don't know, bro. It's wild.
A worm, in fact, got into his brain, ate a portion of it, and then died.
Yeah, it's interesting just looking on to what is in the article. As you read a little deeper, it says about the same time that he learned of the parasite, he said he was also diagnosed with mercury poisoning, most likely from ingesting too much fish containing the dangerous heavy metal, which can cause serious neurological issues. And in this deposition, he went on to say, I do have cognitive problems. Clearly, I have short-term memory loss, like you mentioned. I have longer-term memory loss that affects me. But he did go on to tell voters that might be questioning his health what?
Yeah, his campaign says questioning Mr. Kennedy's health is hilarious. It's a hilarious suggestion, they say, given his competition. And we know that RFK Jr. has really tried to market himself out there as the healthier alternative, the younger alternative than Mr. Trump and Mr. Biden, of course.
I mean, we saw what happened with Trump, but also, I mean, Kennedy is somewhat right. He's somewhat right. Because he is healthier. But Trump survived that, so I think RFK and Trump are somewhat even in that department, right? Because Trump surviving that hit, man, that's insane for his age, and it might have been prophecy, I don't know. But but yeah, let's keep on.
Of course, not that much younger. He's 70 years old in comparison to President Biden, who is 81. Donald Trump is 77, but he often posts pictures of himself working out in the gym or posts pictures.
Bro, 81, too old to run for president. They should put an age limit on that, bro. Too old, my guy. Too old. No offense. But that is extremely old to be running for president. You know what I mean? That's like, slow down there, buddy. You know? We need a president that's in his 40s again. That's what we need. I wouldn't mind if RFK or Trump wins, to be honest. Either one. Unless, you know, we're in the end times and it's over, right? But it's technically not over because Christ is coming back. But if that's not the case, you know, then I think I'd probably vote for RFK if he is the guy. If he's him, then I'd vote for him, right? But for me, it's a toss-up between him and Trump, honestly. I think we're going to do some more reactions with... We got one more video to react to, boys. We're going to react to both Trump and RFK, but we're going to dive deep into more of RFK's beliefs so we make the logical choice here, right? Then we dive into Trump and what's going on with him. So we're going to do one stream about RFK, then go into Trump. I think that's what we're going to do here.
Pictures or videos out there snowboard.
Okay, enough of that. All right. He got worms in his brain. Let's close that out. But how is he going to end wars? Now this is a, you know, it's a fetch, you know. But he's getting the young audience to vote for him. The young folk love RFK.
In the heart of Washington, D.C., an ultra-powerful group of people have dominated American foreign policy for the last 2 decades.
Because the earlier you strike, the more damage you can do. Weapons of mass destruction.
The transition to democracy in Syria has begun, and it's time for Assad to get out of the way.
The only way you beat an army is with another army. Are you for invading Iraq? Yeah, I guess so. I wish the first time was done correctly.
But I don't think you should assume that Iran is too big to have regime change.
We will, in fact, be greeted as liberators.
They are called the neoconservatives. Their program was laid out in the 1900s in a document called...
Boys, I'm gonna sound like every other YouTuber. I hate it, but I'm gonna link the first live stream that we did on the channel. On the main channel technically first, and it's on this one now. But if you guys want to watch the first one where we go into the Piers Morgan kind of stuff, you can check that one out if you want to. It is an hour and 30-something minute long video, but you can skip through it. Get to like the first 10 minutes of it. Skip me yapping on, but yeah, let's get back into it, boys.
Called the Project for the New American Century. Its goal is to maintain and extend America's status as the world's sole superpower. Oh, and it also says we must destroy any rival that stands in our way. Through both Democratic and Republican administrations, the neocons have implemented their plans through a series of coups, regime change wars, proxy wars, bombings, assassinations, and covert operations.
Yeah, I mean, our government has done that, and it's crazy. They have done that since JFK. And we've been in wars ever since the end of World War II. That is insane.
These are what Robert F. Kennedy Jr. calls the Forever Wars.
Made us enemies across the globe, left us bankrupt at home.
Mm-hmm.
So, what does he mean by forever?
America's actions are...
How are we going to stop it? Right, how are we going to... How are we going to stop the Forever Wars? That's what I'm thinking. How are we going to do that? Well, let's continue.
Illegal.
They'll probably say
This
it.
is a justice.
President Donald Trump authorized a drone strike at Baghdad International Airport last night.
The Biden administration giving Ukraine permission now to strike inside parts of Russia with American-made weapons for the first time.
Bro,
the United
no.
States has been embroiled in one military
They seriously want
another,
us in a world war. I mean, honestly, they seriously want other civilians to go into a war and die? What's in it for us? and crap here, and then there's a possibility we might have to go fight a war for other people. I mean, against other people? For a government that doesn't even like us? Bro, that's crazy. God bless the United States government, but that is insane. That is insane, bro. Goodness. What the forefathers fought for is now over. What they did back then in 1776. Look at our government. It's doing the same thing as Great Britain did. What is this charade, bro?
Since 9/11, and none of them ever succeeds.
Foreign military occupations breed violent insurgencies. The shootings, the torture, the general chaos helped drive thousands of Iraqis, especially from the minority Sunni community, into the arms of radical groups led by brutal gangsters such as Abu Musab al-Zarqawi, the same groups, Al-Qaeda in Iraq, ISI, that would later coalesce into ISIS.
And not to mention the cost. The cost of the regime change wars in Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, and Libya just since 9/11 was $8 trillion.
You gotta be kidding me.
That would be enough to make Social Security solvent for another generation, make higher education
They don't want that.
for all Americans, provide free childcare for every family, or completely modernize America's infrastructure.
Yeah,
But
do that.
instead, we squandered that $8 trillion on vain fantasies of world domination, and Presidents Trump and Biden were fully on board with the neocon agenda. For example, Trump appointed arch-neocon John Bolton as National Security Advisor.
So I think we're down to basically two other options. One is regime change in Tehran, and the other is the targeted use of military force against aspects of Iran's nuclear weapons program.
And as for President Biden, he has taken every opportunity to escalate the Ukraine war. Many don't remember this, but he scuttled a peace deal that Russia and Ukraine negotiated in Istanbul in April of 2022, shortly after the war began. And we are now, under this administration, closer to World War III than we have been since the Cuban Missile Crisis.
It's not only America that's fallen into this simplistic good guy, bad guy thinking. That's the example we've set for everybody in the world.
Yeah.
No wonder it's been replicated everywhere, between Israel and Iran, between India and Pakistan, between Shia and Sunni, between Jew and Arab, between Hindu and Muslim, left and right. This tribalistic, us versus them thinking is tearing us apart. And it's...
This is who we need. Now, if we're wrong about this guy, hopefully not. But man, this is who we need in office, bro. This guy right here. Who actually speaks goodness, right? Who wants America to be great and peacemakers. I forgot the quote from the Bible, but we'll look it up later, right? But we should be peacemakers, setting the standard in the world, like he's saying, setting the standard. This is who we need in office. We don't need someone waging war and trying to take over other countries just because they run it differently. Now, if they're killing like little babies and like killing each other, you know, and it's really bad and the people are hurting, yeah, maybe we step in. But let's continue. I'll let him speak. I'll let him cook.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. will utterly transform American foreign policy. He will end the forever wars and make peace the top priority of the United States. He will bring the trillions home to restore a prosperous middle class. He will transition America out of the neocon fantasies of full spectrum dominance into a multipolar world. He'll restore the military to its proper function, the defense of the American homeland. He believes that the country is ready to turn its attention and resources toward rebuilding our strength from the inside out. And that is why Robert F. Kennedy Jr. invites any American, whether you support him or not, to join him in signing a pledge. We're calling it the End the Forever Wars Pledge. Please join us and click the link in the description to add your name to our pledge. And together, we can secure peace overseas and prosperity for our people here at home.
You know, I think the message is terrific, right? What he's talking about. It's a great message. I'm not going to say he's the Antichrist or anything. That would be rude. But I want to vote for him, and I want him to do the things he says he's going to do. He's been fighting all these companies for the last almost 40 years that are bad companies that want to hurt the environment and stuff like that. So it's kind of tough, right? Because a lot of other politicians gotten into office and said beautiful things like hope. But when they get in office, there's no more hope. Is dead, right? Hope is dead when they get into office. But yes, I want to vote for the guy. I don't want to trust him. But on the other hand, he could be lying throughout the whole thing just to get votes. So, I want to trust him. I want to think he's a good fella and can do great things for us. And I truly love, coming together and not, being tribalistic. I think that's the important part. But coming together as people and stopping these wars, I mean, that's really important because no one wants to go to war. At least I don't, right? I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to serve this country the way it is right now. So, that's just me. I think it's respectable to serve your country. But if it's going the way it's going, I don't want to serve these people in office that are just going to stab me in the back for $1 or $2 or for millions of dollars, right? I don't want to fight for those people, The forefathers didn't create the country for it to end like this, right? No matter what you say about the forefathers, they did create one of the biggest countries in all of history. We have to admit that. With all of its problems, it's also done a lot of good things. Like after World War II, after we bombed Japan, not funny, we helped them out. The bombing wasn't that cool, right? But we helped them build back up. No other country done that, right? Maybe they had some bad things at hand that they say, hey, Japan, we helped you out. So, you gotta help us out. Maybe it was like that. I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't even born. My father wasn't even born. But I think RFK might be the guy. He might be the guy, boys. And I'm thinking we're going to keep on researching this guy, digging up the closets that his bones are in, the skeletons. And see if this guy's worthy for our vote, right? That sounds very ego-like. But I want to see more of what he believes in. I like it so far. I like it, dude. He might actually, if it was the time to vote now and he's on all the ballots, I'll probably vote for this guy. Not gonna lie, I probably would. Or Trump, either one. For me, it's like him or Trump. I don't know. But guys, hope you enjoyed the live stream. If you want to check out the first one, it's in the comments. That's only if you want to check it out. No forcefulness, But guys, hope you enjoy the rest of your night or day, wherever it is where you're at in this world. Hope you guys enjoy the further live streams. Man, I'm going to get out of here. I'm having a brain seizure. Not really. I am getting real hot, But, I don't know what I said like that, but who cares? But boys, see you in the next one. Yeah.